98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy. Weekdays from 10 a.m. on 98FM.
Yeah, the big story over the weekend, Adrian, of course, was the video that went viral online. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because Adrian hasn't seen the video yet and hasn't watched the video.
No.
This is genuine, by the way.
Now, I knew about it, but I just haven't seen the video.
I texted Adrian when this video emerged online, and I texted Adrian immediately and said to him, don't watch the video, Adrian, because I want you to watch the video for the first time live on the air for the listeners to see the raw reaction from Adrian, because that's something you can't stage, it's something you can't make up. So okay, Adrian has not seen the video.
No, I haven't. This is a shocking incident which was captured on video and widely circulated on social media from Bangor in County Down up the north. And like I said, I've read all about it, but I just haven't seen the video.
No, I watched the video yesterday, actually. I was told about the video yesterday, and it was sent to me. And normally I'm able to watch stuff like this. Normally I have quite a strong stomach. I literally could only watch the first 10 seconds of it, and I had to switch it off.
Okay, well, 3 teenagers have been charged with a range of offences following the attack on the young girl on Friday evening. The video appears to show the girl being repeatedly punched and kicked in the face by a number of people. The victim has been treated in hospital, but her injuries are so severe that police said medical staff will not be able to carry out x-rays on her face until next week.
So listen to that. Say that again, Adrian. Repeat that.
Her injuries are so severe that medical staff will not be able to carry out x-rays on her face until next week.
Okay, for those of you who have seen the video and know exactly what we're talking about, I mean, it's been shared hundreds of thousands of times on social media. For those of you who have seen the video, and if you just want to, if you have a comment about it, if you have something to say about it, text us right now on 087 798 98 98. That's the text or WhatsApp number. 087 798 98 98.
Okay, let me have a look at this.
So we basically what we've done is there's a lot of language in it, so we've beeped out the language and we've beeped out the names. But Adrian is watching this video for the first time because I just want to see what his reaction is to it.
Okay, so let's have a look at it now.
Barber, there you go, you fucking screw baby at the pump. Get the out of her. Honestly.
Stick your hands in your face, Nick.
Oh my god.
Right. Sorry.
You're sorry, you're sorry.
Oh Jesus.
Sorry.
Bust her nose.
Sorry. Sorry.
Sorry doesn't mean shit though. See, believer. There you go.
Can you explain what you're watching as well?
I'm watching a girl sitting on top of another girl and literally beating the face off her. Oh my Jesus.
Why give me my boyfriend?
And a fella pouring drink over her, pouring beer over her.
Go ahead,
Boyfriend.
Oh my Jesus, she's after smashing her head against the ground. Oh, I've never seen anything as vile in all my life. That is just horrible.
I'm sorry.
Oh, and she's pulling her by the hair.
You want my boy, do you? You want a man? No. You want that boy now?
My God almighty.
Go, Courtney. Just jump in.
Oh, she's smashing her forehead on the ground.
Exactly. See you, believer.
And now another girl is attacking her and strangling her. And oh my God.
I don't think you need to watch it anymore.
I don't need to watch anymore. Oh my good God.
Now that is genuinely the first time Adrian has watched that.
First time I've seen that. That is... Oh Jesus, sorry, it's still on there. Oh, that is absolutely
horrific.
Vile.
No, not even horrific. I don't get upset over things like this, and I've seen videos like this before, and I was so upset yesterday watching that video. In fact, I'm watching it now. I haven't seen... Oh my God, this is the first time I've seen it this far. Kicking somebody in the head.
I have never seen somebody taking such a beating in all my life, and that's the God's honest truth. I have never seen anybody taking such a severe beating, ever.
Now, there's very little we can say about it because they have been charged with it. It is outside our jurisdiction, though, so we're fairly okay in what we can and cannot say about it.
God, you've left me speechless now. I wish I'd seen that before now to be prepared for that. That is the worst beating I've ever seen anybody take in my life.
Yeah.
I was when I was a young fella, when I was about that age, actually, I was beaten up by a gang of scumbags.
I was shaking after
beaten with an iron bar, but it wasn't as bad as that.
No. Repeated kicks to the head literally being used as a footballer, head being bounced off the ground. This young girl. What do you say about it? Here's the thing.
Well, I put it this way: I am glad to hear that 3 teenagers have been charged with a range of offences following that attack. I am delighted to hear that, and I hope they have the book thrown at them, because to have it in you to beat somebody that severely is a bit of a sickness, in my opinion. That is vile what those people did, and I am delighted to hear that 3 people have been charged. 3 teenagers have been charged with a range of offences.
You see, I have two thoughts on this that I want to share with you. And if you've there's huge reaction coming in already. Keep the comments coming in. You can text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. That's the text or WhatsApp number. If you've seen the video, even if you haven't seen the video, you can see by Adrian's reaction what happened. Here's my 2 thoughts on this, Adrian.
Well, let me just go to Paul, because he's in a bit of a rush. Paul, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Paul?
Good morning, Adrian. Good morning, Jeremy. How are you?
Good morning, Paul. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I saw that video yesterday, and my first thoughts were that, dirty scumbag bastards, and
yes,
the text there. And as I put in the text, I hope they get custodial exemptions. I hope they don't get this, oh, we're sorry, we didn't mean it, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the worst part for me, actually, the most degrading part for me, was that bastard pouring
beer over her head. Yeah.
Like literally degrading the woman. The woman's taking a hiding, and to make it even more degrading, pouring drink over her head.
Apparently, later on, there was a carry-on of it.
We can only talk about what's in the video at the moment now because of the case.
Right,
but I know what you're going to say. My 2 things about this, Paul, where a lot of the time I have a problem with people videoing assaults like that. Okay, yes. I find it disgusting that somebody would stand by and video that happening. But I'm actually thankful that it was videoed.
Because they just incriminated themselves.
Because that video is now evidence that it happened. I mean, it did happen. The video was there. It shows them doing it. And had that not been videoed, it would be word against word. And I think people need to see this video. The second point...
Oh, by the way, sorry, somebody just sent me in a photograph this second of 2 of the girls, this was posted on social media as well, of 2 of the girls involved in the attack, and to look at them, butter wouldn't melt. Yeah. They looked like innocent young teenage girls. Butter wouldn't melt, and honest to God,
Paul, what would you do if that was your daughter whose head was being used like a football?
If that was my daughter, I'd probably end up getting a custodial sentence, and that's being honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, and
because
that's
I wouldn't take that lying down, to be honest. I'd have to go out and do something about it.
Well, the police in the north have warned against vigilante justice. They're saying we don't want to see justice with fists or feet, with baseball bats, or down the barrel of a gun. And they're basically...
It's very easy for the PSMR to say that, Jeremy. But I mean, when you're a father and you see your daughter being used, as you say, like a football, and her head being bounced off the ground. And as I say, the most degrading part was the beer being poured over the poor girl.
Paul, I know a lot of people say stuff like this just for bravado when they say that, but I can say, and I'm sure Adrian can say, are you a father, Paul?
I am indeed.
Yeah, I'm sure I can say this with my hand on my heart, that if that was my child, that I was at the receiving end of that beating, I would be taking the law. I'm not encouraging people to take the law on their own, but I'm saying if that was my child, I couldn't.
No, I have to be honest. I am none the better of seeing that video for the first time. In fact, like I said, seeing it brought me right back to when I had the shit kicked out of me when I was only 18 and beaten with a baseball or with an iron bar over the head, and it wasn't as bad as that beating. That's the.
It always shows how brave they are. There's always 3 or 4 of them, and I hope the guy or the girl with the phone is one of the ones that is actually charged.
Yeah, I can't confirm that, but I hope so as well.
See, there's a problem here as well, Paul, that brings up a whole other issue, and it's the whole bystander effect. The fact that you can see people sitting on a wall watching this happen. I don't know what type of person could sit by and watch a girl being used as a human football and not intervene. I don't get that.
I really don't get it myself.
If the fruit is part of the little group, the fruit is known.
Well, sorry, Paul, we're losing you there. Sorry about that. Steve, you're on 98 FM. How are you?
How's it going, lads? How are
Good.
you?
Your 17-year-old showed you that video last night.
Oh, it's crazy. I never seen anything like me. I said it to her myself. I said, if that was you and that was your friends cornered you into a corner, I wouldn't have cared that they were girls.
Yeah.
I said I would have done the exact same. I would have streeled them around. And as for the fella pouring the stuff on the girl's face, isn't that some sort of torture that someone does to someone? They put a bag over their face and they pour them out?
Waterboarding. Waterboarding, they call it.
And you could hear her when she was on the ground. She was choking. And I said, "They're going, and your man's laughing," and all over her boyfriend.
Well, here's what I believe, Steel. When in any, I'm not just talking about this instance, in any fight that happens on the street or in a nightclub, or outside a nightclub, any fight, if you hit someone in the head, that's attempted murder as far as I'm concerned.
And not only did they hit her in...
That's not GBH.
She smashed her head against the ground.
Yeah. When you deliberately go out of your way to assault someone in the most vulnerable part of their body, the most, the head, that is attempted murder.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, I have to say.
But the kicking of her in the face, and then to pick up with her hair and literally smash her head off the ground.
Yeah.
I said it to her, and she was, my daughter was like looking at me as if to say, like, I know you would. I said it to her, I promise you, if that someone ever corners you into somewhere like that and ever happens to you, I'm telling you now, that would be the exact same what I would do to them. Girls or no girls.
You would.
The exact same. It was like she was set up. I was looking at her going, it was like she was sitting there with them, and then, get her.
And do you, Steo, you have a 17-year-old daughter, okay? More or less the same age as this girl. Does it worry you when your daughter's out, say, playing with her, well, not playing with her friends or her age, but when she's out hanging around with her friends and out in shopping centres, does it ever worry you that she would be attacked like that?
But she's really quiet, she's a really quiet girl. She does a lot of her dancing. She doesn't really mix with young ones like that, but I said it can happen. If a girl ever says about a fella around you or anything like that, never go up near them or go and meet them on somewhere like that, and then you go up and there's a lot of them doing there on your own. Don't just walk away, turn around and walk away. You have to ring me and I'll go and get you.
And unfortunately for that girl, I don't know what the circumstances were that led up to it. That
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
She had no way of turning around and getting away.
That's what it looked like. She was with them. It looked like it was a setup. Bring her up to. It looks like to her friends, and we bring her up, and then all of a sudden it was a attacker. That's what it looked like. It looked like they would have to be out probably all day together, and then they got them in a quiet place and get her. And then for the one to stop, and then the other one to go on top and give her a scene.
But like you said, the one
it was like
little thing who was with him. Me fella, stay with him.
It was like a tag team.
It was.
It was a tag team.
It really was. All right, Steve, just to confirm, by the way, the 3 teenagers have been charged with a range of offences following that attack in Bangor in County Down on Friday evening. Following the incident, police have now charged a 17-year-old male with grievous bodily harm with intent, assault, occasioning actual bodily harm, and aiding and abetting GBH. So that's the fella who poured, I assume, the beer over the young one's face. I've just found that vile.
You see, I don't think in a situation like this, generally speaking, I don't think GBH is a strong enough case. I think if Adrian is having a fight with me, if we get into a fight on the street and Adrian takes it upon himself when I'm lying on the ground to kick me in the head, that is setting out, in my opinion, to kill somebody.
Yeah, I agree.
It really is.
Frank, you're on 98FM. How are you, Frank?
Morning, lads.
Morning, Frank. How are you?
It's absolutely sickening, that video.
Yeah, it really is. And I'll be honest, and I'm not exaggerating, I'm none the better at seeing it, I have to say.
Adrian, listen, we're too PC in this country. In fact, the world has gone crazy now. These kids are kids of skanks and dirtbags. I'm sure if you look at the parents of these kids, monkey see what monkey do. They don't lick it off a stone. There was another video from Belfast, I think it was, on Saturday, of a poor kid. Now, I didn't see the video, but allegedly there was a kid in a wheelchair attacked by these 2 older teenagers.
So Frank, why are people doing this? And why did
Jeremy, listen, but I'm just giving you an example. And on the video, I noticed the police are in the hallway of this house taking out these 2 scumbags, yeah?
Yeah.
And the mother is outside screaming at them, "Don't hurt me, baby." Now, look at it's gone ridiculous. You go to the doctor and the doctor tells you have cancer. What's the first thing he wants to do with it? Cut it out. these scumbags need to be ran out of areas. As I said last week, Adrian, we were talking about that poor girl that was died in the hit and run and all from that other skank. These people need to lose everything. They're cancer on society. Get rid of them. And 3 teenagers, Adrian, arrested. Teenagers. There'll be absolutely nothing done to them.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold out much hope.
Listen, Jeremy,
sorry to cut across you, Frank. You're actually talking about the North, and they are quite... they're much stricter with teen offences up north than they are here. So
yeah, but Adrian, listen, as we said last week there about down here and up there, it doesn't matter. When these little scum go inside, they're given the best of things.
Yes, they
education, everything. That poor child now is the anxiety that kid is going to go through now on the street. At all, for the rest of our life, these won't do that. No. And you may bet the parents of the scum have got everything handed to them, free houses. As I said, Edward, they should be ran out of every place they're in.
Okay, rather than talking about this then, Frank, why do you think they behaved in this way? Why, in other words...
Well, I'll tell you, Jeremy, what I say, and I don't care what people say. I couldn't care less what people think. You look at the families of these scumbags all over the city, every city really in the world, right? They've parents that's either on drugs, alcohol... Single people raising kids that don't give 2 rats ass. You've kids 12 to 14 going out on the street. Ask a guard to ring you there, an off-duty guard, and he or she'll tell you. They see kids out after midnight, 12, 13 years of age.
Yeah, I've actually seen it myself, driving home late at night.
Parents don't care. This is what I'm saying to you. They're dropping kids for every Tom, Dick and Harry because they're getting things handed to them. That's what, and people are afraid to say this. That's a fact of life.
I know, Frank. I agree with every single word you're saying, and I think what you've just said echoes what most people feel now, isn't it, AJ?
Yeah, well, listen, I'm going to say something else, lads, and this is my opinion.
Oh, jeez, I'm terrified. I'm terrified now.
I'd love to see some sort of kids, especially girls, getting some sort of vaccine or something that prevents them from dropping kids under the age of 22, because what girl wants kids under the age of 22 is beyond me.
All right, Frank, I don't think we're going to bring in forced vaccines.
Well, look, as I said, lads, people look around, they have the scum, then you'll have the people getting on, little Billy and little Jessica's.
Although there is no defence, even the parents of those kids couldn't possibly.
Yeah, but you know what? That. You know what? I'm talking about generally. I'm talking about when you hear about teenagers like this committing assaults like that. Yeah. I can guarantee you in most of the cases they were playing violent video games. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but I'm saying kids nowadays are let play. You know, kids for the last 10 years have been playing Grand Theft Auto. Yeah. They've been running over people in their cars, and I don't care what anybody says. There is a link between violent video games and violence.
Let me read out a few of your messages. What shocked me even more is the kid that was pouring beer on the girl. It was the most vile part of the video. I found that the most disgusting part of the video as well. My husband watched that video yesterday. It was shared by many of my friends too on Facebook. I couldn't even bring myself to watch it. Even listening to Adrian there made me feel like crying for the poor girl. As far as I know, one of the mothers actually gave their identity to the police.
I hope that is the case.
Yeah, I hope it is as well. Linda, you're on 98FM. Hiya, Linda.
Good morning, lads. How are you doing?
Good morning, Linda. How are you?
Well, after watching the video, I was quite shook up, I have to say.
When did you see it?
I seen it late last night, and I just thought it was absolutely sickening, of course. And I think the worst part was the child pleading on the ground, saying how sorry she was, just to get them to get off her.
Yeah, she must have thought her life was over at that stage.
Absolutely, and listening to the video and listening to the one saying, "You want my boy," so the reason, apparent reason behind it, is over a boyfriend.
Yeah.
Over, and how this one didn't want, her boyfriend to be with somebody else.
And I've seen the bloke. I've seen the bloke they were fighting over. Not worth the effort.
He's no oil painting. No. Yeah.
Not worth but he gets off scot-free and she gets the attack. I think it was absolutely horrendous. And I would pray to God that they definitely get some sort of a sentence. Or they get the scummiest work to do in community.
Apparently it was, according to a load of messages I'm after being sent, apparently it was his mother, that young fella's mother, who rang the police. So,
okay, well, fair play to them for that.
Yeah.
You can't. I do believe, yes, half it is in the rearing, but then people rear their children quite well and they go out and do wrong things. So it's a 50-50 balance.
Do you agree with my point about violent video games, Linda?
Absolutely.
Now, people get very, and there's a message here I'll read out in a second. People get very defensive when you blame violent video games, don't they?
It has to have an effect on you.
Yeah.
It's like the conversation in the news today that, I don't know if you heard this on our news bulletin earlier on, that young teenage girls are getting full body waxing done because they want to look like porn stars.
Yeah.
They think they have to look like porn stars. So that has an effect on them as well. One last call on this. Anne, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Anne.
Hiya.
Now, Anne, the same thing happened to your son 2 months ago.
Yeah, it was the same thing. He was out walking. I was actually after complaining to him so much about being in the house. He sits upstairs, plays the games. He is the most polite boy you'd meet. He wouldn't harm a fly. So he started going out, and I'd say it was only 2 to 3 weeks after he started going out. He was walking around and seeing one of his so-called friends and says hello to him. Your man calls him over, grabbed him by the hood, laid into him. As he fell over, he was unconscious. Your man actually laid into him that much, and his other mate videoed it.
Jesus.
But he ended up breaking his jaw. And he was in he had to have an operation the next morning. And at that, I thought it would stop him from going out. I thought he'd have the fear in him because he's not a fella to fight. He'd run away from a fight. And he even actually said it to me, why would your friend do that to you? Why?
Yeah.
Now, he does play all them games, but he's not a violent fella.
Now, what games does he play on?
Fortnite. They play Fortnite, and no, he's not as mad about the game. They mostly sit there and they be chatting to their mates. And
But has he played Grand Theft Auto?
Grand Theft, no, probably 2 years ago we played that,
Yeah.
but he went off. He's not bothered with it anymore.
I think that game single-handedly, I think that game, and that game is out 15 years.
Yeah.
I think that game has single-handedly ruined a whole generation.
It's vile.
Absolutely ruined a whole generation.
There are many people. Jeremy's being ridiculous as this message.
Oh,
There
here
is
we
no
go.
link between video games and violent
Yes, there
tendencies.
is, and I'll give you one in a second.
Scumbags are scumbags. End of.
No, listen. As I said, he's been playing the Xbox since he's probably 8 years of age. He's 17 now.
Yeah.
He hasn't got a violent, but he's not like that at all. He even if he's seeing two people shouting on the street, he'd cross the road and avoid it. He is not like that at all.
As a matter of interest, Anna, how is he now?
He's still a bit quiet in himself now, but it was when he came in here that evening when it happened, he was only gone a half an hour. He was vomiting into the sink blood.
No.
And with that then, the video of him being unconscious, the fella sent it to him. And he kept saying to me, Ma, look at me phone, they're all hopping me phone. And I seen him on the phone, and he actually looked like he was dead.
My God almighty. Yeah. All right, well, look, and wish him well, and thanks very much indeed for your call.
And for those of you who are getting all protective about your precious video games and all that, and saying that there's no link.
I'm being plagued with messages here.
Okay, let me talk to just one of them, because I have evidence that will back it up.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Grand Theft Auto, because that's, in my mind, that is one of the most violent video games, and I've played it myself, but I'm a grown adult, I'm allowed to play it. But all you parents who have let your kids play games like Grand Theft Auto, you are to blame for raising a generation of scumbags who think it's...
Sorry, not every young person is a scumbag.
No, people who've played that game, Adrian, are desensitised to violence. It's amazing when you mention video games and you blame video games on anything, people get all defensive and they're like, oh no, video games don't cause it. But not one of you have been able to put up an argument against it. Research that I've come across, Adrian, this is American research from the National Centre for Health Research, has found that violent video games is linked to aggression in children. Studies have shown that playing violent video games can increase aggressive thoughts, behaviours and feelings in both the short and long term. Violent video games, here's the key here, folks, listen to this. Violent video games can also desensitise people to aggressive behaviour. In other words, that if your 13-year-old, if little Johnny has been playing Grand Theft Auto and running over prostitutes in the car and shooting prostitutes in the head on his game. Yes, that's only a game, but what that has done is it's desensitized him to violence. He thinks violence is okay. He's probably been watching Quentin Tarantino movies since he was 12 years of age, and you haven't done anything about it. So what you've done, basically...
And then why doesn't it have that effect on everyone? I'll read out a few messages, okay?
Okay, let's...
I've played violent games since I was a child. I'm 30 now. I've never been in a fight in my life. Can you also blame violent TV, movies, books, whatever you like? Don't give these scum an escape route. They're just scum. And by blaming video games, you are giving them an escape route. Oh, God love them. They were warped by video games.
No, this is...
There is no excuse.
No,
but let me just read the rest of his message.
Sorry, this isn't... I'm not making an excuse. I'm trying to come up with a reason why kids are doing this, and that is the reason.
Sorry, I mentioned a while ago that when I was 18, which isn't yesterday or the day before, long before violent video games were ever invented, I had the shit kicked out of me in Bray Seafront and beaten to within an inch of my life with an iron bar. They weren't watching violent video games, but those scumbags existed then, and I'm talking about the 80s, and without violent video games. Okay? I was literally left for dead on Bray Seafront.
Okay, yeah, I know you were. You've told the story many times, and it's horrific, and that was long before Grand Theft Auto.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, why do these
scum will always be scum? Scum
will always.
Let me just read out the rest of this message.
Yeah.
He says, Grand Theft Auto sold 90 million copies. Are all those 90 million people warped? You'd be stupid to believe even kids can't differentiate between reality and a pile of pixels on a screen.
That's not what I'm saying. You're completely missing my point. And I'm not saying that every single 12-year-old that has played Grand Theft Auto is going to go out and kick the head off someone or shoot a prostitute in the head. That's not what I'm saying. Some people are more susceptible to picking up the thoughts after playing this video game. We're all affected in different ways. In other words, Adrian, I can go to a casino in Vegas and bet €50 and walk away.
Yeah.
Okay? You can go to the same casino in Vegas, put $50 in the thing and not walk away and end up spending your whole money. What I'm trying to say
that's an addiction. That's a completely different thing.
No, what I'm saying is different people react to different things in different ways.
Well, I'm arguing with you that scumbags have always been scumbags. They will always exist. They existed long before television was invented, let alone violent video games.
Here's another...
Let me just bring in a quick call. Tracy.
Hi.
Now, Tracy, what do you want to say?
I just wanted to say that I know what he's saying about the video games, but I don't think that a lot of girls would actually play the likes of Grand Theft Auto or those type of games.
Yeah, I think you might be wrong.
A bit more than you might think. But no, her point obviously is, how do you explain the violence from those girls in that video?
Yeah.
And I take that point.
Well, no, some people are just dragged up. They've been dragged up with no moral compass, Tracy. They haven't...
Oh, I get that, but I don't think that you can blame it on a video game.
And I'm not blaming it on a video game. I'm not, and I'm not trying to give them.
Here's somebody I'd love to talk to that just sent in the message. I've an 11-year-old and a 12-year-old who play those games, but there isn't a violent bone in their body.
Okay, well, I don't believe that text for a start. That's someone winding you up. That's someone trolling you. Have you children yourself, Tracy?
I have 4 of them.
And have they played any violent video games?
Well, I had 2 sons that would play. Well, both of them play Fortnite. The older one would have played Grand Theft Auto. And he's as gentle as the day comes.
How do you know that, though?
How do I know that?
Yeah, I mean, in other words, how do you know? Do you think the parents of those kids involved in that video, do you think those parents thought for one moment that their kids were capable of doing something like that?
I'd say they did, yeah. I'd say their parents are probably not much better.
But why did
But I don't think it's that to do with video games, and I certainly can't see the likes of those girls sitting at home playing a video game.
Okay, forget
if anything, they're probably out roaming the streets at the age of 12, drinking, doing drugs, and God only knows what.
Okay, forget about the video games then for a second. What about violent movies?
I don't think that you can blame movies or videos on actions of teenagers and what they do.
You see, this is the point that I was trying to make to you, Jeremy. By trying to blame videos for violent outbursts like this is excusing these.
No,
it is.
No, it's
because it's saying, oh look, that's what caused it.
No, we as a society need to get to the root of the problem and find out why.
I don't believe and I repeat myself, I don't believe we're any more violent today than we were back in the 80s.
It's just that it's videoed now,
yes,
and you can see it
exactly.
on YouTube. Maybe so.
Shona, you've actually done research on this very topic.
Yeah, I done it as part of college assignments.
Right.
We were all kind of given assignments to do, and me and one of my friends, we chose to do can video games cause violence?
Yeah.
Now, and we done kind of maybe 3-4 months worth of research on this. And actually our college lecturer, this was her dissertation, I think it's called, she done this as well, and we were kind of like, okay, maybe we won't go down this road, but we did, and we followed up on kind of Americans, and we kind of done research into kids as well in Ireland, and we went out and got statistics, and like what we found was, 90% of kids would kind of go out, and like we didn't just do it on video games, we done it on TV shows.
Right. And what did you find?
We found that an awful lot. Like, I mean, they mightn't go out and cause, they mightn't go out and hurt people like them people done to that girl. But it's that they've come, like, it's kind of like what we found that is they don't kind of show any sympathy or empathy, or like there's just no.
So they're not shocked by violence.
They're desensitized.
No.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so basically, like, and I know Jo Frost, because we watched her as well, done a research on this as well with kindergartners, kind of preschool kids, and kind of the first part of the research was that she brought them all in inside kind of groups and, like, say, dropped pens off the table, and they all picked them up and gave them back to her and helped her, and I was like, oh God, okay. And then what she done was she allowed them to play video games, like one half video games for a week or 2 weeks, and then the other ones just done their own kind of thing, went out and played. And then she done the knocking the pens off the table again. The ones that didn't watch video games or didn't watch the violent TV shows helped her, and again was like, oh God, is everything okay? Where the other ones actually got up off their chair and walked out of the room.
See, wow. There's two things. There's two issues here.
Sorry to cut across you, Jeremy. Yeah. Because somebody is desensitised to violence or less helpful, doesn't mean they're going to go and do that.
No, but I remember seeing an interview, Adrian, with someone, and this is the whole thing about desensitisation and how you become used to things. Yeah, I remember seeing an interview with somebody who was in the concentration camp in Auschwitz. Yeah. And it was a Jewish person, and they had helped take the bodies out of the gas chambers, yeah. And the man was interviewed in the interview, and he said, "How do you able to stomach that, wheeling babies out of a gas chamber in wheelbarrows?" And what he said was, and it's very true, if you do something or are exposed to something for long enough, it becomes the norm, and you become desensitised to it. Do you get me?
Yeah, but again, I'm going to emphasise that violence with young people has always been there. It's not a new thing to kick the head off somebody in that way, sadly. And I don't believe we should be blaming video games. I don't think we should be looking for excuses.
Well, then my counter argument, the last thing I'll say about this is, Adrian, is if video games are completely harmless, and maybe you can back me up on this, Sean, if video games are completely harmless, yeah, Adrian, and violence on TV and videos is completely harmless as well, yeah?
I didn't say it was completely harmless.
Okay, but if it's not,
I just said stop blaming it.
No, but if it's not having the effect that I believe it is having, why should we not let our 5-year-old sit down and watch a Quentin Tarantino movie? Why are we not doing that?
Because they're not prepared for it. They're not able to process it because it's so violent.
But it's not going to affect them in any way. That's what we're being led to believe. I mean, Sean...
Okay, are people being affected by the violence in Game of Thrones, for God's sake? That's the most violent show I've ever seen in my life.
It's not a kids' programme, is it?
But they're watching it.
Jeremy, you're comparing Nazi death camps to violent video games. No, you're an idiot, the person who sent that. You completely missed the analogy that I came up with. The analogy I was talking about was desensitisation. Look it up in a dictionary. Seriously, it's so annoying when people don't get the point you're trying to make. What I'm saying is, if you're exposed to something that is horrific, if you're exposed to it for long enough, it becomes the social norm. And if you can't get the point I was trying to make, I can't help you. I'm sorry.
All right, look, that really took over. We have to leave it at that. This is 98FM's Dublin Talks.
98FM's Dublin Talks with Adrian Kennedy. Weekdays from 10 a.m. on 98FM.